How would you define this? How should we all be?
Because the game was on Saturday.
How should we all be feeling right now?
Pissed. Disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And it's you had both those games. You had great opportunities in both of those games to be able to just put your feet up and say, oh, Kansas City, you're resting your guys? Guess what? We're resting our guys too. All right. But unfortunately, we don't. So I say that, but then now all of a sudden I take a step back, take a deep breath, and I want to spin this to be positive. And you look at who you're playing on Sunday. It's Kansas City. You're a 9.5-point favorite. They're not playing a lot of guys. You should win this football game. And then you go to, okay, well, if you don't deserve to be in the playoffs, right? So as disappointing as that game was on Saturday and as frustrating as it was, all of a sudden I can put it in the rearview mirror really quickly and just focus, okay, all right, I get it. Last 2 weeks have been very disappointing. But now if we win this game, that makes up for it, right?
Can I ask you something? What are the Chiefs doing? I think this is stupid. I think this is a dumb move that could really come back and bite them. So let's look at the calendar here a little bit, shall we? They played Christmas Day. Okay? They played December 25th. The next time they will play, their starters, Patrick Mahomes and crew, will play a game that matters. The earliest that will be is January 17th. January 18th. That's the earliest they'll play. Stoke, you were on some of those indie teams that you had buys.
Yeah.
And you lost your first game.
Well, we don't need to bring up my history, Mike.
I'm bringing up yours and Peyton's history, okay? You had a couple.
now
of
you're
those.
bringing Peyton in.
Well,
I mean, let's just focus on the future, on the here and the now.
Okay. But I think this is. I'll take it. Hey, Andy Reid, you want to do it? That's fine. I think this is shaping up as a potential real bad move by the Chiefs. That you tell me. I just think there's a difference between resting your guys and being worried about guys getting hurt and all that kind of thing. There's also the very real issue of just not being ready to play. You guys are such creatures of habit. You are routine driven. And you're now going to be talking about Wednesday, December 25th until January 18th to play a football game? At any point, when does a team have that much time off?
Never.
Answer, never.
Never. No, I'm with you. I just play. We're going to play, guys. That's what we're going to do. That's my mindset. I've been through it, Thanks for bringing that up. But so since you did.
Address the pain.
Yes.
Address the pain. Okay. Face it head on.
It is. You get out of your routine. And now, look, here. If guys are banged up, you're not playing.
Right.
But if you're ready to go, we got to play. I want to stay fresh. I want to stay. I don't want to be all of a sudden take extended time off and all. There's rust there, and you're just a little bit off because you have your routine, and it's the same stuff every single week, and you just get used to it. All of a sudden, you take a step back, and it's just different. I think what Andy Reid is looking at here is obviously they've won a lot, and they've won a couple. He's got a mature football team. He's got some good leaders there. And you look at Mahomes and Kelsey's like, okay, these guys need a little bit of a break here. And I don't want to push them too hard. And I trust that they'll be ready to go. And he's probably going to practice them pretty hard, I would think. But I'm with you. That makes me very nervous as if I was a Chiefs fan. Because I just think you want to just keep going. It's football season. We're not taking weeks off. And certainly, I mean, that's a long time.
3 weeks.
And you're at the end of this thing. You just go. And if you're a little bit banged up, like I said, then you're not playing. Other than that, I would play my guys.
See, if I'm a Chiefs fan, and I've been criticized of being one.
You are the leading, the number one. You took over for the bank robber, Chiefsaholic guy. You are going to be wearing that costume.
But
are you going to wear that Sunday to the game?
I would say I would have my starters play a quarter of this game. Just get out, treat it like a preseason games, get out, play them like, 2 or 3 drives, and then get them out. But at least you're keeping them somewhat in the flow. This is over 3 weeks your guys are going to be sitting and getting cold.
So here's the problem with doing that. Okay, I've done that before, and we did it against the Broncos. That was kind of our team that we've never had to really worry about playing because always late in the season it seemed like we had it wrapped up. I know we did one year anyway, and we came here to Denver, and you knew you were only playing a quarter or a half. You're checked out. You're not even into it, and all you're thinking about the whole time:
don't get hurt.
Don't get hurt.
Right.
Don't get hurt. Don't get hurt. You could care less how you play.
But you go through the week. You go through the week. You're prepared.
You can still
and
go
all that
through the
kind
week.
of stuff.
You can still go through the
it's
week.
Not the same.
But it's not the same either, Mike, when you know you're only playing a quarter.
At least you're out there playing NFL football.
Yeah,
though.
but I'm either all in or out. I don't like to dip my toe in the water, Mike. Just all in or out.
Thank you, Chiefs. Thank you.
Yes, I agree.
I think what you're doing is going to come back and bite you. But thank you.
We agree on that.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for bringing up those memories of all my playoff losses. I appreciate it when I was thinking about going to the Super Bowl and then we lost. Yeah, thanks for that.
You guys did not have a good record when you had the bye.
No. I was here when we had the bye also.
Yeah.
That didn't go well for us, Mike.
I'm telling
you.
It's not
since you're bringing up past horrible experiences
Go ahead,
of mine.
Chiefs. Hey, Chiefs, you know best. On the RumbleSaw.com text line, you guys are amazing and pathetic how you criticize Bo for some of these decisions and keep forgetting he's a rookie. John Elway went 4-7 in his rookie year and was benched. Relax. Bo will be fine for years to come.
Wait, okay. Well, first, I've said that multiple times a day. Okay, multiple times a day. I've said that. I said, hey, I'm nervous and concerned with what I'm seeing and how panicked he looks in the pocket and how quick he's escaping the pocket, right? But at the same time, we have to remember he is a rookie. He has started, 16 games this year? That's it. So you're going to have moments like that. I get it. I think we look at Bo now, and because there was a lot of hype around him, and he's delivered, he's played well in a lot of big moments, and we forget that there's still going to be some development here. But no, we haven't forgot that, Mike.
No,
I bring it up all the time.
Of course, but I guess it comes down then, how do you want to evaluate Bo? Do you want to strictly evaluate him as a rookie quarterback, or do you want to evaluate him as somebody that you believe can be the quarterback of a team that gets you into the playoffs this year?
Both.
Well,
both, Mike.
But if you're going to bring into the conversation, hey, we're talking about this being a playoff team and Bo leading this team to the playoffs and what he needs to do to be a playoff quarterback in his first year, then the evaluation changes. Then he's not just a rookie that you're giving a lot of passes to. If you're talking about what it's going to take for him to be a playoff quarterback and this to be a playoff team, then the evaluation has to change. And when he misses that throw to Troy Franklin running down the sideline on the first possession of overtime, that's on him. When he's showing some happy feet and making a couple of bad decisions and throws on the second possession of overtime, that's on him. And you have to grade him accordingly.
You're right. You're spot on. Because I'm grading this guy now, but also I take a step back and also do remember that he is a rookie. Okay, so I think you can do a little bit of both.
Yes.
But right now, to your point, I think we need to evaluate him like he is a playoff quarterback. Like he is because I'm looking at Bo and I'm thinking, hey, we have an all-pro quarterback. Not this year, but moving forward, we have our franchise quarterback. So some of the things that you're seeing, you have to be critical of that. We shouldn't be seeing that. Now, you're going to have some mistakes, but the happy feet, out of the pocket stuff, the misreads, the game moving really fast, not being able to tell what coverages they're playing, things like that. Feeling pressure when it's not there. That's not an all-pro quarterback.
Real quick, we got Mark ready to go, and Mark's
Mark's showing up today?
Mark's here.
Are you sure?
He's in the on-deck circle.
Oh, my goodness.
He's ready to come up swinging. But very quickly, because I've seen a couple of texts on this. You guys are being unfair to Bo on that play. If Troy Franklin keeps running and doesn't dive, that's a catch. You tell me, Mr. Receiver.
I'll go back and look at it, but no. I'll have to look at it again, but that ball was 3-4 yards overthrown. Again, to what we talked about earlier in the year and something that has bothered me all year. And I get it, these guys have played college together. But why every stinking play we got 4 or 5 new guys coming in? Wouldn't you like it? Would you rather that ball be thrown to Cortland Sutton? Now, I get it. Maybe it's not Cortland, but who's the other guy you would like to be thrown? Who's the other starting receiver? I don't even know. Let's get a guy out there that they've had hundreds upon hundreds of reps this year with.
Yeah, but those two have had hundreds and hundreds reps together, and in two instances, Franklin was open. Twice, wide open.
Well, yeah, the second one you're talking about, that's a little bit different. I don't know who he was throwing it to. This one, you got to complete it. But to my point, all year, you need to have your guys out there a little bit. So you know this is how it's going to go down. And when you don't have that, there's a little bit of second guessing. But, yeah, Bo's got to make that throw. But, no, Troy diving for it or running through it didn't matter. He overthrew it.
We bring in Mark Schlereth. Good morning, Stank.
Do we have?
We got him.
Mark.
Yes.
Oh!
Yes. I am here. Hey, Merry Christmas, Stoke.
Merry Christmas, buddy. Good to hear your voice. You look great on TV today, by the way. So,
thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Well, you jump right in. Here we go. We've been debating it all morning. Stoke and I are on opposite sides of this debate. I felt that Sean should have gone for 2 at the end of regulation. Stoke defends Sean's decision. You break the tie.
Yeah, I thought they were going for 2. Initially, that's what I thought. But I understand if you look at it, and I think Sean was thinking that way too. And then this is what happens with analytics. This is why I hate analytics people. I hate people that know how to do math. Hate you guys. Absolutely hate you. Because somebody got in his ear and said, hey, all we need to do is tie. If we get a tie, we get the playoff berth. So somebody got in his ear and basically said, talked him out of going for 2 because it's an analytics nerd that threw out the tie thing in his head, and so then he had to manipulate that thing as well. But let's face it. I thought toward in the first drive of overtime, was it the first drive of overtime? I don't know. There were so many clock management issues going down in the course of that game. Like, I get playing for overtime. I understand that aspect of it. But once you stopped Cincinnati and you got into that situation where you've got an opportunity to kick a field goal and win that football game, I just thought the play calling got so predictable. I was like, hey, man, make Bo Nix, give him a run-pass option. Make Bo Nix threaten the edge of that defense, run the play action on first down, and then go to the run game on second down. I just thought they played right into Cincinnati's hands with some of the play calling there that just was disappointing for me.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on with the 2-point conversion. You saw that they looked like they were going to go for 2, and then they had time off there with the replay to think about it. I think what the analytics guys or whoever's up there, I think they just tell them the facts. Like, hey, Sean, by the way, if we do tie, we're in. And then it's ultimately Sean's decision from there. I don't want Sean to just rely solely on analytics and numbers. I want him to make the best decision. And they had a chance. They had multiple chances, a couple chances there in overtime. They just couldn't do anything with it. I thought Bo played his worst football of the game in overtime. Had a couple opportunities there to Troy Franklin, one we just talked about. The second down play on the second drive, the last drive for the Broncos, after getting 3 or 4 yards on the run play, he felt pressure that was not there. They had it blocked up, and he threw the bubble out there to Marvin Mims. Didn't need to do that, right into cover 2, a squat corner, a rolled-up corner, and they lose yards. Then on the third down play, his happy feet, he was moving up in the pocket. They only rushed 3. No need to start running up the pocket and never got his feet set and dirted the ball when you had 2 guys open.
Sting, quick reaction, and we'll bring in TD.
Yeah, no, I agree with all those things, man. It was disappointing that overtime, the way they played the game in overtime was disappointing to me. And yeah, I just thought that was a bunch of different things. I thought they got out of character with what they were doing earlier in that game. I thought Bo Nix played, like Stokes said, probably his worst football of that game in the overtime, and it's disappointing to see the way it ended. No question.
Monday mornings with Terrell Davis, presented by Colorado Credit Union. The Hall of Famer joins us now. We won't bring up CSU and the Snoop Dogg Bowl. It was not a good weekend for our local football team, so we'll just we'll move on past that. TD, Happy New Year to you and your family. And where do you stand on the decision to not go for two at the end of regulation and instead take on the variables of overtime, but knowing that you had a tie would still get you in the playoffs?
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, man. Rough weekend for Colorado sports. It was tough. As I'm watching the game and Mims makes obviously he makes that touchdown, my initial reaction was to go for two. That's what my gut was, that they will go for two. And it looked like they were about to go for two, and they changed their mind and then obviously kicked the field goal. And once that decision was made, I didn't really have a problem with that, man. I mean, you can argue both sides, and you're really only right if it works out in your favor. It's always going to be second-guessed. And I've played this game, and I've been around long enough that no matter what you do, if the results don't come out in your favor, you have to be prepared for the criticism. I did think that their offense played better in the last the fourth quarter. I think about their last three drives, they had three touchdowns, and they had a pick. So kicking a field goal gives you an opportunity. Your offense, was producing in the fourth quarter. So they did get a stop. They got the ball back. They had a chance twice in overtime to score a touchdown or kick a field goal to win the game. So I am not as critical of the decision because I thought that there was some momentum with this offense. Yes, I get it. One play, I've always found this out, that it's always easier for somebody at home who's sitting there who has no skin in the game to say, go for it, go for 2 points. And it's just a different environment. I mean, when you're the head coach, you have to make those decisions. It's not as easy just to go for two. A lot of times you play it safe. You kick the field goal. You tie the game up. You take it into overtime. And you try to see if you can make a play and hold them, whether kick a field goal or drive down and score a touchdown. So I am not sitting here today saying that they should have gone for two on that play. You can argue both sides. It didn't work out in our favor, so obviously the criticism comes now because they didn't go for it and they lost the game.
Yeah, how much do you think this week plays into the decisions they made against Cincinnati, knowing that you're facing the Kansas City Chiefs, winning you're in, and Kansas City is not playing anybody?
Yeah, I think it. To me, it shows it didn't. Because if you know that, hey, even if we lose, chances are the Chiefs are going to. They're not going to play the players. So we're pretty much, I would say guaranteed, because you're never guaranteed, but you're not going to see the starters this week. So I thought if they had gone for it, that would have shown that, all right, hey, let's just go win this game. And then you might even have a chance to be able to rest your players in week 17 if you win this game. So to me, it would have been, hey, go for it if you factor in the Chiefs aren't playing their players in the final game. And that would give you an option to be able to rest our guys as well. But they didn't do that. So I don't think they did, Stink.
TD, I'm going to ask you again, the running back situation, it's frustrating to me watching on TV because Jalil, you could tell, he was hot. He was feeling it. They had the running game going, but it seemed like he would get the ball one time, and then the next play he's running out of the game, and it's Audric Estime or it's somebody else. And he ended up with 10 carries, 69 yards. Audric Estime had 9 carries, 24 yards. I just like to see in a certain situation, like, let's just keep going with the guy that's hot. I mean, he's running the ball great, and then you get him out of the rhythm. Your view and your thoughts there on how they're rotating and using the running backs.
Yeah, so what I've noticed, first play, Jalil's sitting 7 yards deep, and they run basically a zone run. And I think he picks up, 12 yards, something like that. It was a big chunk. What I'm looking at is their offense has no connection with that formation. They don't throw passes out of that formation very often. So it's almost like a tail sign. When they line him up deep and it's a single back deep, it's either some type of play action or it's a run. They don't throw like a drop back from under center. And when you do that, it's almost a telltale sign. Okay, running backs deep, they're only going to do two things. They're going to run a play action or run some type of – they'll run it. Whereas their offense is not built with that formation. But when they did do it, there was a few times they've had success with that. I was like, hey, man, that's where they need to be running the ball from. I am not a big fan of the quarterback in the shotgun formation, backs offset. That's just me. I can't. It's hard to run the ball like that where you're running sideways, your shoulders are turned, and you're trying to pick up yards. And that's even with like the RPOs, where you have to kind of, the quarterback's going to tell you whether it's a hole there or not. He's going to dictate whether you get the ball. Just line those guys up and, man, just put them deep. And just see he had a lot of success with that one play. And I was watching it. It's like, man, this dude, every time they line him up there, he's having success. But they also need to have more plays out of that formation, particularly throwing the football, whether it's a 3-step drop, 5-step drop. And I know these quarterbacks don't do that now. I know when he drops back from under center. But that needs to be a little bit more a part of that offense.
Hey, TD, real quick, I want to ask you because you're uniquely suited to answer this question about Saquon Barkley going for the all-time record over Eric Dickerson. The 84 record stood since 1984. Right now, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, what did it mean to you to go
for it, Stink. Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it, man. Go for it. Not that I have any regrets, but there is that sort of, man, I wonder if thought in my head. And that year I broke 2,000. How many games we sat out and didn't play in the second half. And I don't have a problem with that. But when it's right there, and I needed 170, I think 170 yards.
77
in the last game.
Yeah.
How much was it?
Yeah. 170. Yeah, I think you're right. 170, something like that.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And we were in the same situation. We'd already basically clinched and didn't really need to play that game. But it's one, if you're that close to it, I would hope that they try to give them a shot at it. And if anybody's worried about the injury, you just can't worry about it. You just got to go do it. That record has stood for a long time. I know Eric Dickerson is sweating at home. That's my man. I know he's at home sweating, but I think Saquon, it would be a great, and you can attest to this as an lineman, as a guy that's in that offense, and to be a part of that, how special is that? If you were able to break the all-time single-season rushing record.
Even though, guys, that Philly has nothing to gain. They cannot get the number 1 seed. They're locked into the number 2 seed. So it's not like playing Saquon comes with the added benefit of trying to get the number 1 overall seed. You're locked in.
I think one of the things, and TD, you can talk about this, but for us, it wasn't just about TD. It was important for us as a football team. We wanted it for TD, but we wanted it selfishly, to be a part of that as well. So it had a lot more to do with just a record. It was not only a TD record, but it was a team record, and it brought us brought us together, like yelling at the sideline about how many yards is TD. Like it was so special. Like I'd like to see them go for that.
I agree. Yeah, Mike, we had nothing to gain either. We had nothing to gain. The only thing we had to gain was we had just come off 2 straight losses, and I think we were trying to find the energy and sort of that the mojo, try to get that back before we hit the playoffs. But I'm telling you, man, once it's gone, I don't think chances are he will never be in this position again. And I think they should be aware of that. If you have a guy that's that close to some type of record, it is really a duty of yours to allow him to do it. It's football, man. It is what it is. So, but I would certainly hope that they give him a half. Say, hey, man, we're gonna give you a half, and we'll see what happens in that first half. If you're knocking it down, you're 70 yards, then you'll continue to play. If you're sitting there at 15 yards, on 10 carries, then that might be a different story. But at least allow my man to try to get the record.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Yeah, he does. But, boy, everyone's going to be holding their breath the entire time. Good stuff, TD, as always. Happy New Year to you and your family, and we'll talk to you next week.
Same to you guys, man. Happy New Year. Go Rams, baby.
All right, Terrell Davis, our Hall of Famer. He's presented by Colorado Credit Union.